Okay, hello guys, we are back with another video, the final Arcane video already, which is kind of crazy. Um, I don't really know what to say right away. Um, it's over, and a lot happened, a lot was good, and a lot was bad, and I definitely feel like I'm going to rant in this video by the end of it about its ending. Things, things I didn't like, things I didn't like about the final act, or I guess the final two acts. But I mean, I'm not trying to hate on the show, it's amazing, but I will have to rant about some stuff later. But there's a lot of amazing stuff in here in this final act, so let's start. I mean, this video might be over an hour, I don't know how long it'll be, but there's a lot in here. But starting this act, coming into this final act, I thought we better get happy endings for everyone. I mean, a show doesn't necessarily have to have everyone having a happy ending when it ends, but I wanted at least something I was happy with. I guess I wanted some characters to be happy because I feel like that makes me happy. Episode 7 starts with Echo, but I guess different looking, older, kind of got a suit on, a little more fancy, and he's writing in this journal. And he's getting this like almost glitching, phasing effect on him where he's kind of remembering memories that we've seen. And then we see Jinx come in to this room or whatever. I think this is the same place in season 1 that he would hang out in with Benzo. But Jinx comes in and she's not Jinx. Her name's Powder. And she's got a normal bun haircut, not long hair. She's not crazy. And then Benzo comes in and it's very confusing, and then when the intro hits. By the way, I don't know if you realize this, but they did it in tiny frames in the intro, but episode 7, 8, and 9 had some different frames of the intro. I noticed this on my rewatch, and I was like, that is very quick. Is there someone that like has it not quick on the internet? And I looked it up, and a Reddit user by Andy Mullock has these frames here of episode 7, 8, and 9. When we come back from the intro, we see Vander, who is alive as well. Everyone's kind of happy and bright in this world. I was getting the idea that this was a what could have been world. We see Milo and Clagger here alive as well. Then Jinx starts this discussion about this project that they're gonna enter into, some competition with Echo. Echo's getting these phasing glitches again, and every time he gets one of these, it causes him to draw this hex core in his journal. And then Jinx get a conversation with Vander about how she's always trying to fill everyone else's cup like a bartender, but she needs to fill her own cup. After this, we get Heimerdinger, who comes back, I guess, but we don't know for sure if he's like in this other universe or if it's the Heimerdinger we know. But he talks with Echo, says he's been here 1,128 days before Echo even got here, which is wild, but it's nothing to him pretty much because of how long he's lived. But he explains how they've been scattered through time, and in this world or time there is no hex tech. Then we get Jace with no beard, and I was confused, but it was him when he got scattered through time initially as well with the hex core. He meets this cloak guy, the one that he met as a child in the beginning, episode 2, I believe they showed. Once he's walking through this fog and trying to walk after this guy disappears, and he looks at Piltover consumed by this hex core colors and energy, and it's kind of like an apocalyptic land. Jinx says she wants to go see Vi. She talks about Jinx and Echo entering this contest, and Echo has the idea of kind of inventing hex tech basically for this contest. And we go to see Vi, who is now dead. Got the same doll that Jinx made in our normal world, and they talk about the fact that she died because of Echo's job. That, if you don't remember, was in episode 1. They went to Jace's apartment to kind of steal, which ended up causing Vi's death. Then we get a scene of the parallels of Jace going through this apocalyptic chaos world and Echo going through this, I guess, peaceful, what could have been world, as Heimerdinger sings. I thought it was Heimerdinger. I was like, wait, is that Heimerdinger? But yes, this is a song that the voice actor for Heimerdinger sings. At the same time, we also see Echo discovering, basically, I guess, getting like memories of how Vi died and the shards that ended up killing her in this apartment of Jace. And at the same time, we see Jace kind of walking through this chaos and what looks like dead people. Then as he's walking by these dead people, like they start to move and whatnot. Jace starts to fall. He falls pretty far down, multiple levels, into this cave where he hurts himself. He starts to live in this cave for many days, I guess, for a lot of time, enough to grow this beard of his. And he starts eating some like arcane corrupted animals he's found, and then he himself becomes arcane corrupted. And during this time, but he manages to see an opening and climbs his way out. Then we see Echo made a mural or painting of Vi, a bunch of Vi's, and he describes the dream he had about Vi being a fighter and Jinx in this other world. And Jace starts to walk through this hex core infected world again. We get a compilation of Jinx and Echo kind of growing hex tech and making hex tech again, kind of the hex core type stuff. And then we get kind of a time travel aspect here. We see Echo find out that he can time travel a few seconds in the past, and they test how far he can push it, and he pushes it a little too far, and we just see a little bit of blood and scattered parts of Heimerdinger. And obviously Echo is horrified at this and says, trust me, we can't push further than 4 seconds. Heim was sent to bits. At the same time here, with the time travel aspect, me and my sister started to think about some things, especially the fact that he has a clock in season 1 episode 7 on the bridge fight against Jinx that he uses to see how he loses a fight against her and then kind of rewinds time and defeats her. And we don't really get an explanation on how he got this clock in the first place. So we are thinking maybe he does something where he discovers the clock in this episode and he brings it back to like his past self somehow. But that didn't end up happening, I guess. But maybe it did, but they just didn't show it. But I'm guessing not. But that would have been cool. Then we get a crazy, I guess, final few moments of this episode, 8 minutes or whatever. We get Benzo talking to Echo at the bar, at the party, this party that they're going to. And we get Vander in this scene, who actually, a small details, he has the words Vi written on his hand here, as you can see. And then after this, we see Silco come into the bar and say that he forgave Vander for trying to kill him. And they're buds, and it's pretty great, honestly. Then we get Powder making her entrance into the party. She walks the same way that Jinx walked in season 1 episode 4 when Jinx made her entrance, but now it's Powder. There's a dance. We get Echo and Powder start to dance together in a low frame scene, and at the same time we cut between Powder and Echo at the spot where Vi and Powder would sit when she talked about her losing her bunny up there. They sit, and Echo says, can we pretend like it's the first time, when they kiss. At the same time, we see Jace kind of climbing Piltover, the apocalyptic Piltover. He climbs all the way to the top to find this, I guess, guy who's kneeled on top of it, kind of dead. You can't tell who it is, but he's holding Jace's hammer, like arcane infected hammer. And at the same time, the guy in the cloak is behind him, or behind the guy kneeling. Now, two things me and my sister are wondering here. I think they obviously try and make it seem like it was Victor kneeling, but it also could be alluding to Jace. But here is where the theory came into our minds that maybe the guy in the cloak, the one that helped Jace in season 1 episode 2 when he was just a kid, was Victor, and that theory does prove to be correct, and we will talk about that later. Jace asks to be sent back. He grabs the hammer, and this cloaked person, Victor, sends him back. But at the same time, we get Heimerdinger kind of activating their hex core thing that they've been inventing to send them back to their normal time, and Echo comes in on him while he's doing this. They kind of prepare to go, but what Heimerdinger didn't say is that to send Echo, he can't send himself as well. Heimerdinger gets all the gears working, plugs this in, and goes poof. Now, they don't answer what happens, which I don't mind this ambiguity, but I guess he either died, he was either like erased from all of time or existence, or he went to another time or existence. I think it's one of those three. You let me know what you think in the comments below. Powder comes in and sees this Echo. How we know he looks, gets sent back to his world. This Echo in her time or world comes back, and the episode ends with Powder putting in this blue rose type thing in Vi's drawer. And I don't know if you've noticed, but on this rose there are the side profiles of both Echo and Powder that he gave to her, which is hard to notice. I actually didn't notice on my first watch, but on a rewatch I did. But the symbolism here, I think, with her putting this in Vi's drawers, kind of, I guess, memorializing the other Echo that she had just met, that she spent time with and kissed, and yeah. Now, this episode was kind of crazy, and honestly, this is probably my favorite episode of the series, this episode 7, just because people were happy for once. I guess, I mean, Jace really wasn't, but I mean, this is kind of how I wanted the series to end, something like this, which we didn't get, but I just felt good this episode. After episode 7, we go back to what we are used to in the normal Arcane world. We see the Black Rose kind of, I guess, leveling up, maybe? I don't know, but she's meeting with Mel, whoever this Black Rose which I think was Amara, in this headspace, I guess, with Mel, and she's appearing as the girl that got her head chopped off in season 1 episode 8, I think it was, and Mel's backstory. The Black Rose says that Mel is a mage and an empath, and basically they talk about Medarda's betrayal and whatnot, and the mage there and Mel suggests that she is basically the silver bullet to Medarda. Then Amara, or the Black Rose, extends an offering to Mel, and in the form of a necklace. She wears it, and that's that. Then we get back from the intro to see Medarda burying her right-hand man. I don't remember his name. I don't even know if we got it. But then at the same time, we see Singed with Warwick, kind of working on Warwick again. And this purple and white tube, like spherical thing that I predicted was Victor being housed in. And yes, this is preserving Victor. He can talk through these other people, I guess. We go back to the aftermath, I guess, of Isha's explosion type thing. We see it from Vi's point of view, her getting cut, Kate trying to help her up, Jinx kind of running toward Isha, sort of, and then we get her back in focus with Loris while she's in bed, kind of recovering from what happened. Then we get a scene with Kate and Maddie talking. Vi interrupts because she says that Kate got Jinx arrested. She's not too happy about this. After this, Kate brings some food to Jinx in her cell. She no longer, I guess, has her hair braided. There's just a lot of hair. And Kate's basically saying, we make our mistakes. Kind of like you made your bed, you have to lie in it, kind of a thing to Jinx. And she was kind of being annoying. She's being very hurtful to Jinx when Jinx was obviously not in a good mental place. Jinx then explains that she didn't know her mom was in the council room. She says it probably wouldn't have mattered, but just so Kate knows, she didn't know. So basically saying it wasn't personal. It wasn't personal. I didn't know she was in there. And Kate, I guess, kind of realizing this as well. Then we get Jace at the council room with Mel coming in with her golden armor, confirmed to have saved them from the rocket, which I predicted here in this first act video. Jace kind of blames Mel, I guess, for progressing Hex Tech, but she was saying you were an investment, I guess, good investment. Then Victor comes in the form of this white, advanced mechanical robot type thing, and starts to battle with Jace and Mel. They kind of have an attack. They actually manage to defeat this Victor, and Victor tells the doctor to begin his process. Then we get Jinx in her cell with Silco as a shadow here, which is pretty cool, but then he appears in actuality with a blue eye, and I think there's some things worth noting, that he's not a 2D figure like some of the other people, and he's not this grayed out shadow like Milo and Clagger. He explains the cycle metaphor here and the cycle of, I guess, violence and whatnot, and then we get a really good line here.
We build our own prisons, bars forged of oaths, codes, commitments, walls of self-doubt and accepted limitation. We inhabit these cells, these identities, and call them us. I thought I could break free by eliminating those I deemed my jailers. But Jinx, I think the cycle only ends when you find the will to walk away.
That might be my favorite line of the series. I mean, there's a bunch of good amazing quotes in this show. Really good dialogue in this show. After this, Vi comes in and says, we need to use that explosive potential of yours for good. We should use that explosive potential of yours for good. I believe in you. But then Jinx kind of maneuvers around her, punches her, gets her in the cell, and says that she's going to break the cycle of killing, and talking kind of suicidal. We then see Jace kind of start a council meeting with some of the Undercity up here, like Savika, and explains that a war is coming with Victor's new robot people, his new abilities, as well as the Noxians, and that they need to prepare for war. And a lot of people start leaving in the middle of this when he's asking for aid. And at the same time, we see the Piltover enforcers lighting lights at the Undercity bridge, kind of signaling that we need help. And they turn the lights off and kind of give up, but then some Jinxers come and help. Sorry, I had to yawn. And then we go back to the prison where Kate goes to find Vi in the cell. But basically, I mean, Vi just heard her sister talking suicidal or whatnot. Instead of like going after her, they start to do some things. Basically, they just get intimate with each other, I guess. But in the same moment, I was like, I mean, isn't Caitlyn with Maddie? Like, what are we talking about here? But things like that, I think, are a problem with this season 2. Is we had her with Vi, then she got with Maddie, then all of a sudden she's like cheating on Maddie, and then they don't talk about it again. Like, a lot of stuff like that is rushed in season 2. Then we get a scene with Medarda and Mel. Mel kind of confronting Medarda on why she has to bring this battle to Piltover, and explains what she did to Kino, her brother. She gets slapped for it, but Medarda says she had to forsake Kino for Mel, and that these mages need to end because of some Noxian beliefs and ideals, that everyone is equal on the battlefield and through cunning and whatnot. The strength and the strong are the victors, and mages kind of beat that. But right after this, she shows Mel that she's assembling Victor's army, and didn't she just say Noxians believe in being even on the battlefield? I mean, to be fair, this could be because she just explained that she's going against mages and people harnessing the arcane, so she's kind of bringing some of the arcane by herself. That might be her example of making it even, actually. Then we get Singed kind of reigniting Warwick, Sky saying goodbye to Victor. And we get an interesting line here I thought was interesting. is that Victor said, "I will miss your talks," I believe he said, and she said, "No, you won't." Kind of showing that she knows that he has lost his emotion. At the same time, we see Vander's memories just like before in the second act, but they're kind of fading and dropping and melting this time. And at the same time, Victor's kind of becoming this new creation or new being at the same time that Warwick is. Now we've got the series finale, which will be the biggest part of this video, and a lot about what goes on in the episode and a lot of closing thoughts at the end of the episode. So we start with Jinx having her hair kind of sprawled out again, and the different art styles we go through her mind, kind of a thing that we saw in the trailer when I broke that down. We see Silco's chair kind of, I guess, igniting it, and at the same time she's in the last drop, kind of blowing that up, I guess. I don't know how she got access to that, or if it's metaphorical. I'm guessing she actually was in the last drop, which somebody in my comments of the trailer breakdown actually called, and that's I mean, greatly appreciated. But we get a scene here with the glass exploding, kind of a thing, that we broke down in the trailer. Who someone else in my comments said it looked like Warwick's jaw opening around her, which actually I couldn't get out of my mind, and it does kind of look like that. It may or may not be. But we got a Jinx kind of shattered again. Then we see her about to kill herself. She actually starts to with a bomb, which is monkey bomb, kind of fitting because that's what she, I guess the birth of Jinx happened when she killed all her friends. But she starts the bomb. It starts to like tear off her skin, but then Echo comes in luckily and reverses back 4 seconds. She continues to do this where she kills herself many different times. She tries to, and Echo just keeps rewinding it and trying different ways to convince her not to. And I guess another issue I had here is that we see him sit down and talk to her, and she hasn't killed herself yet, but then we cut away and we never get that again. We never get the scene of Echo convincing her not to. We just know that that didn't happen off screen, that she didn't kill herself. Then we get the new type of council, I guess, which is just Kate, Mel, Jace, and Vi talking in this table. But as they're talking, each of them kind of cut to a moment that is like, what's going on? But we know now that those moments that are cutting to in their minds are future moments that will happen in this episode. But we get right into it, like, again, really fast pacing. We get Vi carrying what is presumably Kate, what you're believed to be is Kate, out of this battle. Explosions going off, and she puts down Kate, but it's not Kate. It's an enforcer with blue hair. She starts to kind of worry. We take off the mask, and it's a Jinxer, as they are called, that we have seen. It's kind of sad. She's dead. Medarda and the Noxians invade. Medarda uses her weapons, her like chained weapons. Kate holds a sniper and tries to snipe Medarda multiple times, but she blocks it with like some green runes that she attached to her arm, which is crazy. We get Noxian ships coming in. We get a new Victor. They're carrying around Victor's orb or sphere that he's been housed in. Then we get like shimmer infected Noxian warriors, as we saw, and crossbows and whatnot. And Loris is trying to operate the hex tech, or the hex gates, to send stuff at them like cannons, but Loris gets shot and dies, which is just kind of fast again, and like, I guess, confusing, because we introduced him. He was kind of a side character on screen, and then he didn't get much and he just died, which is sad. Then Piltover starts to throw like the gray, and they start to fight in the gray with gas, and they manage to get a bomb and they attach it to Victor's sphere, but the bomb gets jammed and Kate gets knocked out. Then Medarda makes a big entrance to the gates of Piltover, and we get a reveal that Maddie knocked Kate out, and that Maddie is bad. Now, I was wondering in this moment, was she kind of bad or an inside person from the beginning, or was she just like, did she make a deal when she like learned that Kate and Vi got back together and she got angry? But I think it is that she was there the whole time, planted pretty much. But it would make sense. I kind of got a bad vibe of her kind of the whole show. But as we get this reveal, Maddie is dead as she tries to shoot Kate in the back of the head. Mel kind of blocks it with some gold. The bullet ricochets and hits herself in the head, which is crazy. Mel makes an entrance. Jinx makes an entrance, a pretty cold entrance, with her giant new ship that she comes in. Firelights and Echo are on this ship. They make their entrance as well. The Undercity rises up with Savika and whatnot. They all come for this fight as well. Then we get the Hex Gates used as like a cannon again to send this giant cargo right at Victor's sphere. And they break it. They think they've gotten him. But no, Victor is not in there. To this reveal, we get a scene with Victor kind of breaking into the Hex core area, with Jace here kind of removing these capsules. He talks about creating a unified people, a unified mind to get rid of this conflict and whatnot. Mel says Medarda, Mbessa Medarda is no Medarda. Kate punches Medarda and says to shut up and fight. Warwick manages to climb up Piltover and get on Jinx's ship. Vi and Echo also manage to get on the ship. They fight. Warwick looks like she's gonna evolve Vi, and the ship crashes. And yes, that is what's happening. These white robot type things and Warwick are evolving people, as they say, to Victor's kind of evolution, where they're kind of just grabbing them, making their eyes go white, and kind of Hex Core Arcane infecting them, kind of a thing. Victor explains that these minds are getting united, and we get a reveal that Kate and Mel had a plan against Medarda. They had a plan for Kate to get these runes off of her, so Mel and the Black Rose could team up on Medarda. The Black Rose gets her, chains her up, and it looks like we've gotten Mbessa Medarda, and that's over with. But then Mel kind of breaks into this area where the chains are with the Black Rose, kind of powers up. That's basically what she does. She kind of powers up and everything goes white, and that's it for that story, which again, I'd like more explanation. Like, is the Black Rose dead? Why did she betray the Black Rose after she gave her mage powers? What was the Black Rose gonna do to Medarda? Like, all those kind of questions, I guess. Medarda explains, or Medarda's final words, I should say, to Mel is, "You are the wolf," then dies. So sad. And then I was also confused. There was just a bunch of soldiers around that just watched and didn't participate at all, which was very confusing. I wonder if Medarda's like, hey, don't, the third party, as people would say, let me fight them by myself. I don't know, maybe. Then we get the climax, the huge conflict, where we get the reveal that Vi survived the ship, Jinx survived, Echo survived. Jinx and Echo are on some rubble, Vi's not. We see Victor, new design with this arm on his back that my sister pointed out was the same as the Hextech arm used in season 1 right here. It was developed to make art. It's like the same thing, so it was kind of hinting at this actually, which is great. We get Warwick fight Vi and Jinx because Echo's still like knocked out. We get low gravity because of what's going on with the Hex core with what Victor's doing. We see kind of a cool Easter egg with Jinx shooting her minigun and then kind of switching her setting to shoot off a rocket, which is what she does in the game. You can do a ranged attack and you hold down your minigun, but like in the click of a key you can switch to spamming rockets instead of holding down a minigun like instantly, and that's what she did in the game, or in the show, which is pretty cool. Then we see Victor kind of rising and bringing Jace to the top of this Piltover Hexgate area. We see the minds of all these people that have been evolved getting taken over. We see Echo kind of drifting. It looked like some missing gears and whatnot. I was wondering if his time machine type thing, a hex core thing, had broken at this moment. And then we get the very top of this Piltover area, which is reminiscent of 2 episodes ago, where Jace kneels with his hammer in the exact same position that Jace found this hammer 2 episodes ago with a person kneeling in front of him. So this dead person that he took the hammer from was initially going to be him. Victor explains how with one unified mind and his evolution, there will be no emotion, there will be no conflict, which has been a big theme of this show, and especially how he explains at the end of episode 6 that human emotion gets in the way of things, basically. Jace tries to explain it to him that Victor had weaknesses and imperfections, but there are beauty in imperfections, and he admired Victor's ability to live with these weaknesses and imperfections. Then at the same time, we see Echo was the only person not grabbed pretty much or evolved because he was under this rubble. Everything comes down to him. He gets his board, he goes through all these robot type things and is basically fighting, trying to get to Victor. Kind of gets knocked out, or not knocked out, but kind of knocked off his board. It looks like it's over, but he goes back and he does it again. He dodges it and whatnot. He gets grabbed though. He gets grabbed pretty badly. He tries to go back 4 seconds over and over again, but it's, no matter how he does it, he's still stuck being grabbed. So he cranks it past the 4 seconds and goes even further back, which we so killed Heimerdinger, so this is definitely risky, but he does it. He goes further back and kind of dismantles this time machine thing that he has on his shoulder, pulls it to max time, and then throws it at Victor for like, you know, a big explosion, I guess. Then we get an isolated scene with just Jace and Victor in this astral plane or world, and this is where Victor does reveal that he was the one who met him as a kid. And he said, in every time, every reality, every universe, Jace is the only one that can show him this, that can show him Hextech, that can make him become this herald or whatever, that no matter who it is, it has to be Jace that works with him. Jace explains, I got you, brother. He's got him, they're partners, and they're gonna go through this together, basically kind of dismantling this. Victor kind of agrees to, I guess, not do this anymore, kind of unevolve everyone. They go through this process where they have to hold hands, they have to control this energy, and there's this big explosion type thing. The sky goes back to normal. All these people are being unevolved. The robots are falling from the sky and whatnot, and that's the end of Jace and Victor. We don't see them anymore, but I think this is a fitting end for them, honestly. I like ambiguity here as well. I know some people want everything to be resolved, but I like it not being here. Then at the same time, we see Vi and Jinx kind of falling because they were getting raised in the air by Warwick. They managed to get to like this ledge. Jinx is safe, Vi's not. She's on this part that's falling, and Jinx is like, hey Vi, you can make this ledge, just hurry up and make it. But instead of listening to Jinx, Vi tries to save Vander, tries to get through to him. Vander is gone though. But Vander kind of attacks her. They're falling, but Jinx comes in with the save, gets Vi to safety, and kind of takes her place with Warwick. They try and knock Warwick down. He does fall down, but he grabs onto Jinx as well. And Jinx manages to hit Vi's fist, her gemstone, knocking her grip of her down, and Jinx and Warwick fall down this tunnel. They fall, and Jinx ignites that bomb that she was using to kill herself that she now hasn't. She ignites the bomb, and they fall down into an explosion. Now, something I didn't mention is Jinx has a lot of colors instead of her pink and blue this episode. She's got green and yellow and whatnot. This is something I'm actually puzzled on. I don't know what this would represent. You can let me know in the comments below. Maybe it represents her, I guess. I mean, she's not exactly flourishing. Isha just died, but I don't know, maybe having more control over herself. I don't know. Then as they're falling, we see Vander kind of putting the kids to bed, putting Vi and Powder to bed, putting a blanket on them back in their place in the Undercity at the last drop. Then we go to a giant bowl where a bunch of papers are being put in there and kind of lit on fire. Echo's in the spot that him and Powder kissed in on the other world, kind of by himself. He's also burning one of these papers. We see that there's a new council that includes the Undercity in it with Savika. We see that Singe still got his daughter back. He gets the happy ending. We see Mel wearing the similar new armor as Medarda was and holding her, I guess, helmet, crown type thing that looks like she might put on, kind of become the new Noxian representative, I guess. Kate explains how this story isn't over, and she has an eye patch. And there's a lot of interesting things here. I will say one, she is looking at, I guess, the schematics. It's not schematics necessarily, just the infrastructure of the tunnel that Jinx and Warwick fell down. She goes and sees these air ducts, and that's that. And 100%, this scene is not included for nothing. They're definitely showing or telling us basically Jinx made it into these air ducts. And I saw actually some people today on the internet have been thinking that they see Jinx using her shimmer effect right here to kind of shimmer into these air ducts before. And that's kind of what I thought. I mean, a lot of the times with TV and movies, if you don't see the death, they're not dead. They can always be brought back. They can always be alive somehow. And we just saw an explosion from the distance. We don't know what happened close up. So I think it's very, very likely that Jinx made it out. Actually, I'm very sure of it. We also see at the same time Kate holding like the top of the monkey bomb, showing that she managed to get her hands on it, I guess, the one that blew up, maybe showing another hint that she could be alive. Then we get Vi humming across the river, which is how the series started. Across the river. That's what Powder was singing on the bridge where her mother was dead. And Vi reveals that this is something her mother used to hum. Then we get a final scene of an airship or whatnot flying in the distance and a Jinx kind of style glitching that says the end. Now, basically 100% this ship represents what she said in season 1, what Powder said in season 1, where she said one day I'm gonna go on one of those. And them showing this 100% kind of, I think, signifies her breaking the cycle that she explained, that Silco explained. She was trying to break the Silco cycle by killing herself, but she's breaking it by leaving, and she's escaped. They don't confirm it, but 100% she used Shimmer to get to the air ducts, and she managed to get on this airship, and she's leaving. Now, closing thoughts. Gonna talk about a lot here. So this finale kept me up at night. I was so exhausted. I wanted to go to bed, but I could not with all the thoughts running through my head. Okay, but basically, we've hit the hour mark of this recording. I'm gonna cut it up a bit to make it shorter, but this will be a long video, but I have some closing thoughts. I will say for one here, I don't know how I feel. I don't know how I feel about Jinx leaving Vi. I mean, I think everyone kind of wanted them just to be happy together again. I think that's kind of what I wanted. Because, I mean, I get she wants to break the cycle, but yeah, it's not like this confirmed thing that if she just hangs out with people she loves, that they're gonna die, that they're gonna end up killing each other or whatnot. I think that's one way they could have broken the cycle, them reigniting their bond as sisters, and instead of reigniting the cycle of violence, you know, that could have been one way of breaking the cycle, through love instead of kind of abandoning. I would have loved that. And then I also talked about the fact, I also felt in this episode, and talked with my family, I guess, that I think 100% that they went too far away from the Jinx and Vi storyline in the second season. I think that's why I loved the show in the beginning, and that's kind of the main focus of the show in season 1. And I really wanted them to explore that more, and I don't think they explored it enough. They didn't get enough, I guess, sister screen time, in my opinion. We kind of strayed away from that too much. Yes, so this is going to be my negative section, stuff I wish was better. And then I'll praise it, because this was freaking amazing. But I see the main thing people complain about, and what I think I'd complain about too, is the pacing. It was just so much into the second season, there was just so many different things happening, and they all happened in 9 episodes. Everything felt so rushed. 100%. We went from place to place. Like I said, I would have liked to see Echo convince Jinx not to kill herself. I would have liked to seen, I guess, anything with Maddie. I guess I don't like Maddie, but stuff like that was rushed. The Maddie relationship was just kind of randomly there. I mean, I had a lot more examples last night, okay, but there's a lot that went by fast, a little too fast. I feel like this could have been 2 seasons, like a season 2 and 3, kind of stretched out more, and it would have been more defined. And I think I would have liked that more, because season 1's kind of its own chapter. It's kind of defined, you know. I don't feel like season 1's rushed. It has fast pacing. Okay, season 1's a fast paced show, but it feels like it wasn't rushed. Season 2 feels like it was. Yeah, I mean, things like Vander disappearing, I guess. Vander kind of getting erased from Warwick. I mean, that was quick too. Like, I don't know. I don't know if it was really needed to. I would have liked to see a happy ending with Vander and the sisters. I don't know. And now we're gonna talk about the ending, I guess, right now. The ending's not good. The final episode's amazing, okay? It's really well done. The action and everything just is so compelling and well done. But they summarize the resolution. Is it even 5 minutes of resolution? I've just looked, and it's 4 minutes of resolution after the action and whatnot. That is not enough for this series. That's not even enough resolution at all. I mean, for one, the last time we see Echo is just kind of sitting down in that spot. We don't know what happens to Echo or whatnot. I know some people want him to have gone on that ship with Jinx, and I'd like to know that was the ending. 100%. I'd like to see that they left together. But I mean, if that's the case, we need more story explain how he's no longer going to be a firelight, or how he's going to abandon his role, maybe pass the torch. Like, this is more stuff we could have explored. I definitely did not like how they ended it. That's basically, I'm saying it's not just necessarily that they left a lot open. It is that, but yeah, it pretty much is that. Resolution, we didn't get something that felt complete and felt wow, what a good show. Everything's resolved. I like the ending, whatnot. We got 4 minutes of resolution. I just can't believe that. I'm going to keep repeating that. I can't believe we got only 4 minutes of not big action or whatnot. 4 minutes of the calming down of the climax. That's it. I would have liked to explore the Undercity coming together more with Piltover, instead of it just happening during a battle and all of a sudden they have council seats. And I would have liked more of a Result Kate and Vi ending, and Echo ending, and Jinx ending. I would have liked to have it felt complete, and it in a way felt like there was going to be a season 3. If I had watched that not knowing that it was over, I'd assume that there was a 3rd season, 100%. Now, just to be clear, I do like the Jace and Victor ending. I think that's the only ending I liked out of any characters. That was it. I mean, Singed was kind of just there. He got his daughter back, but I don't really care about Singed that much. But I will state another thing that may or may not agree with me. Let's be respectful in the comments. But basically, I have some, I guess, vibe feelings of season 2. I feel like the vibe of season 1 was simple. It was raw writing. It was raw art. It was a raw soundtrack, and it was filled with passion. The season 1, and it just kind of came out of nowhere, kind of, but it was announced like 5 years before it came out or whatever, and it became a hit. And I feel like season 2 realized it had became a hit. It wanted to level everything up. It wanted to make all these more things more complex. It wanted to make the budget higher, make the art look better. It tried to make like a better soundtrack, and the whole vibe to me of season 2 felt more like a production, and that they had a lot of money and that they were trying to be bigger and better. than season 1, and it just felt to me like more of a production instead of a connecting work of art that season 1 was. Now let's get to the praising. Okay, even after saying that, season 2 is something any writer would be proud to have written. That it's very, very well written. The dialogue, so many good quotes from season 2, so many good parallels and symbolism, and just the little things in the episodes are so well written, especially the big climax, and the conflicts are so well done. You know, I just thought about something else. They introduced the fact that there's different universes in time travel, and they did that for like 1 episode. Huh. They could have went further with that too. I'm just okay. Let's go back to praising. But yeah, season 2 was really, really good. Don't get me wrong, okay? But in the same way, I feel like it doesn't have the same magic and vibe that season 1 did, which can be okay if something's different, all right? But I think they missed the mark a little bit here with season 2, and I think season 1 is better. But I love this show, and I'm gonna miss it. It's gone. I wish it went for more seasons. I really think they could have with the material that they had. But that is it. That's a long video for me, and that's gonna be a lot of editing for me. But y'all don't care about that. But thank you guys so much for the Arcane views and the videos, and just those of you commenting for the helping me with the trailer breakdowns and whatnot. And it all means a lot. And yeah, I post stuff on TV shows like Superman and Lois, Silo. For the rest of the year, that's what I'll be doing. I'm doing Vampire Diaries Universe breakdown, and next year I'll just start Severance breakdowns. But thank you guys so much for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Goodbye.